record button. All right, welcome Heather, welcome Mary, welcome Arlene. So whatever massage balls you have, I have multiple sizes, so you can use massage balls. A stick roller will work as well, or foam roller if you happen to have a foam roller. And we're just going to start. Let's actually start with our hamstrings. So hamstrings, whether you're using two balls in the bag, the foam roller, the stick roller, I'll show you some different ways. So stick roller, bring the stick roller onto our hamstring, and you can work right here. All right. With the rolling ball, now you can do it seated on the floor. It's not the best advised way. So I could bring the ball or the foam roller under my hamstring. The reason it's not the most advised way is because in this position, my hamstring is really extended. So it's a lot more likely to just not feel really good and kind of put some pressure down your SI joint. So if you have a bench or any type of stool or something that you could set up on, bring the ball, one or two, I'm using one because it's going to be a little more intense. Bring the ball under the hamstring and then massage here. So it is better if you can sit in a chair or on a bench. You don't want a big cushy chair like a couch, right? But any type of bench you can sit on works really great. And then, of course, you can use the stick roller. You could use your hands, but I feel like I get a way better massage with the ball. And then we'll just move all different directions that we can. If you're on a foam roller or you're using two balls beside each other, you can't move as much. So if I'm using one ball, man, I can like circle, I can go side to side, I can go up and down. So you will get a lot more movement with a single ball versus a double ball or foam roller, right? But we use what we have. And then we're just gonna take a little bit of time. We'll spend about 5-ish minutes kind of per area of each leg. So about 5 minutes on the hamstring. You want a little more intensity. I oftentimes will lean in to my hamstring with my forearm, and that we call that smashing. So it gives kind of a smash of the muscle. It's a little deeper massage. See who else has joined us. Welcome, Heather. Welcome, Blair, Amanda, Deanna. Welcome, everyone. So I do really like the new computer in that my camera, I love how it wide screens. So you can see more, you can see my head, my face, my feet all at the same time. And I can move around on my floor and have a wider screen. But if you're a Mac user out there, I just switched to a Mac. I've always been a PC. I'm still trying to figure a few things out. Trying to play with the music, though I don't normally play music in this class anyway. And still trying to mirror to my TV. So if you use a Mac and you mirror to your TV, it was working for me earlier today. When I tried to mirror to my TV now, it just kept showing one person instead of everyone. So I'll try to turn that on again in a bit and see what happens. Keep rolling right there. Just want to come up and check on everybody as they're making their way in. Who else has joined us? Welcome, Mary. Perfect. And we're just massaging our hamstrings. Yeah, nice. A chair works. Perfect, Allie. Awesome. Yeah, and see now my TV is showing me Blair. I see you all on my computer, Blair, but you're like the star of the show on my computer or on my TV. Earlier it was showing Vanessa. So I bet I have something in my settings that I need to figure out. Right. It wanted you to be on my TV. Yeah, I probably have to go in and change some setting so that I see everybody on my TV. I don't know why it's kind of randomly selecting. I just turned my TV off, and then when I turned it back on, it randomly selected you, Blair. So you're the winner. All right, as you're ready, my friends, we'll just kind of switch over into the other hamstring. Since we're kind of in a seated position, some of us, rather than moving to our quads, let's just get our other hamstring. So if you're coming in, we can use a stick roller. I'll again model the different ways. So a stick roller can work really well in the hamstring. And see, again, in this position, my knee is bent. So it's a lot better to roll the hamstring with some soft bend to the knee rather than trying to extend the knee out, because that puts a lot more strain through the sciatic nerve that runs down there, down the back of your leg. And so it's just and I find that I get a deeper massage when I bend the knee too. So if you don't have any other options, you can be on the floor rolling your hamstring here. But the best option would be using, say, a stick roller or bringing the ball and having a seat. And you can do this with a foam roller as well. Foam roller is a little bit harder because it's so big, but you can make it work, right? We do work with what we have, and then we have options to, you know, try other methods. You know, if you decide you want to get a stick roller, they're not really expensive, maybe 12, 15 bucks. Nice. The other thing, I hope y'all don't hear it, and maybe you do, and I do apologize if you do. So I guess when messages come in, my computer, it was putting a little banner up there. I got rid of the banner, but it's still beeping. So if y'all hear that beep every so often, I apologize for that. We'll figure out how to get rid of that beep. Because it like beeps if there's a Facebook message, it beeps if there's a text, an email. And I was so proud. I thought I got rid of it when I got rid of the banner, but I didn't seem to. So I think I need to put my computer like on do not disturb or something. So let's see. You can hear it when it beeps. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. So in between, it's not as big of a deal in this class, but I'll go in and before we go to yin, because that'll be really annoying in yin. I do know how to put it on do not disturb, I'm pretty sure. And I think if it's on do not disturb, you won't hear any beeping. Yeah, I'm still figuring out the Mac versus a PC, but I'm loving it as I figure it out. It works really good with videoing and YouTube and all that kind of stuff. So nice. Just work around the hamstring. So again, if you're coming in and you're an expert Mac user, feel free to reach out to me and share your expertise. Lauren and I have been trying to learn together. She's a couple of weeks ahead of me. Nice. I'll just continue to roll this second hamstring another minute or so. Again, those of you joining us, we're working upper leg today, hamstring, inner outer thigh, quad. Of course, you are welcome to roll any part of your body you like. So if you would like to roll feet or calves, which we did last week, if you want to roll your back, if you have any questions, chat box me. That does seem to be working and I know how to use it. Again, you can apply a little bit more pressure with the smash from an arm and weight from the top. And you can hold in a single spot too. So if there's an area a little more tender. Oh, good. Thanks, Kelsey. People are letting me know who's really good with Max. I'll have to remember that. Gretchen, perfect. Yeah, a couple of our trainers have Max too. It just, you don't know what you need help with until you're in the middle of it and you're going, why is my computer beeping at me? All right, a few more seconds here on your hamstring, and then we'll move on to our inner, outer, and quad. And we'll use those kind of interchangeably because you can do all those from your belly, or I'll show you with the stick roller as well. And so we'll do all one leg and then all the other, spending 8 or so minutes per leg, maybe 8 to 10 minutes, because we'll be rolling a big area. If you want to roll your glutes, right? You can roll your glutes. We're focusing on the upper leg today, but roll any part of your body you would like. All right, so coming down onto our quads, inner, outer thighs. Stick rollers work great. You can just work your way around all different directions, and we're covering a large area. So 10-ish minutes per leg is probably really good. Areas that are a little tighter, you can stick there a little longer. Elbows work really great on your inner, outer thigh and quad. You have that flexibility. You could even be sitting in a chair for that. Or rolling, whatever size ball. I usually double up. You can do a single, but it is really intense because you're going to be laying on it. So I usually take 2 balls, choose a leg, lay onto it, and just start rolling. And then when you want to get your outer thigh, your IT band area, you roll a little onto your side. And when you want to get more on the inner thigh area, you roll onto the other side to bring your inner thigh in. So just kind of pace yourself around your leg, maybe try all kind of the areas. So the inner, the outer, the main, the front. You know, a minute each or so here in the beginning to see how it feels. And then you can spend your time on the area that you feel you need it the most. So if you're like, oh, it's my outer thigh or my inner thigh, or if you're like me, it's the entire leg. So just go back and forth. Welcome. I think that's Jen coming in. Nice. So those of you that are just popping in, we're rolling our inner thigh, our quad, our outer thigh. I'm just going to try one more little thing here for a sec while y'all are rolling. All right, perfect. I'm actually going to put my name in here too. I always forget to change my name. It logs me in as VFit. Just in case anyone's coming in and are new and you don't know me, I am Sherry. Get my name up there now. And welcome, by the way, Jen, Kathleen, Angela, Sarah, Sina, Alexis have all joined us in the last few minutes or so. I'm not sure. And work around. And if you have a foam roller, balls, you know, and a stick roller, feel free to interchange, you know, go back and forth from some of the different ones. I know, right? My name isn't VFit. I always forget to change it too. And I'm like, most of you like, no, but there's new people sometimes. And they're like, who is that person teaching? Or if there's a sub, you know, maybe they looked online, you know, it says whatever, and then who knows? My name is not VFit. One of our members, was it you, Heather? Heather A, you're here. I think it was, no, it was Brittany, I think. Brittany's son used to call me Yoga because she would always take my yoga classes. And he'd say, is that yoga? Is that Miss Yoga or something like that? So you can use both if you have a stick roller and a ball. You don't have to have all these different types of equipment. Just finding whatever works for you. That's right, Heather. It was your daughter that thought I was Aunt Sherry because you spent so much time on the computer with Sherry. I must be related. I will be her aunt any day, and your younger, cuter, your newer, cuter baby. Not that she's, you know, they're both super cute. I just meant your newer baby. So adorable. Y'all know I live through all of your VFit children because I live with teenagers. So I love to see all the little cuties. My teenagers have all left me home alone tonight. So I went a couple of weeks ago or a week ago to see my daughter in college. We always have to divide and conquer. And then this weekend, my husband and son went, and my daughter that stayed home with me went over to a friend's house. So I'm like, I don't think I've had the house to myself in I don't know how long. All right, so we'll spend, a few more minutes on this leg. If you haven't moved around, if you've been staying in kind of one place, do try out a little bit different areas. Get a little extra attention to the areas that are tighter. And so it's pie day. Did anybody bake a pie? I saw Maria baked a pie for Pie Day, 3/14. It would not be pretty if I tried to bake a pie. Maria's looks great. I could buy the pie crust maybe and the pie filling. Buy it all and stick it in the oven. So if anybody else baked a pie today, feel free to share. If you live in Texas, if you live in Austin and you baked a pie, let me know. I'll be over. Lenny, you're still a little bit far away. It's a little ways to Houston. Arlene's in Houston. Jim's in Houston. That's still too far. Nice. So as we spend a couple more minutes on this first leg, maybe think about the areas that need it. So for me, I'm like, oh, right here, this little inner thigh area is feeling the tightest. So maybe spend a couple of extra minutes, these last few minutes, on maybe the area that needs it a little bit more. And then remember, you can always move. You can go ahead and move to the other leg if you want. Y'all made cupcakes. Jen, my cousin, made cupcakes because the kids don't like pie. You had pie cupcakes. I love it. Cupcakes I can make, almost if I buy the box mix, where you just add like the egg or whatever. I'm such a terrible cook. I guess I should say I'm a really bad baker because like when you cook, you don't have to. I'm not as careful. So when I cook, like I don't notice it as much. Oh, having a pie day at your son's high school. Oh, that's cool. Pizza pie fundraiser. Oh, that is super awesome. So Angela's son's school. That's a really good idea. A pizza pie fundraiser. I love it. But baking, right? You have to be pretty like exact. And you got to add the ingredients in the right order. And I'm so not patient with that. I just like start dumping things in. And I have measuring spoons, so I don't really use them. You can get away with it a little bit more like on a soup than you can on a pie. All right, so if you're feeling ready, we can go ahead and kind of transition to our second leg. If you want to stay on the leg you're on a little bit more, feel free. So again, I'll just kind of go over the options. Remember, you can use a couple of balls or a foam roller and come on to the quad in this laying down position. And when you're ready for your inner thigh, you just kind of rotate your body so you get into your inner thigh. And when you're ready for your outer thigh, rotate so you get onto your outer thigh. And maybe take the first minute or so, just kind of moving around all over the leg, getting an idea of where you feel like you need it the most. And then if you'd like to use the stick roller, that does work really well also. Hands, you can use your hands. I really like the elbow on the leg because you can get a pretty deep massage with the elbow. In fact, here's Brittany now. Brittany just logged in. So I was saying, Brittany, I changed my name a minute ago because it was on VFit. And somebody said, oh, your name's not VFit. And I was telling him, I think it was your son, right? Your older son that used to just call me Yoga. Because that's, I'm guessing what you would say. I'm going to do yoga now. All right, so we got about 10 minutes to go in class. We'll spend most of that time on this second leg. knowing that at any time you can go back to the first leg. If you're rolling and you're like, oh, my hamstrings aren't too bad, maybe stay on your hamstrings your quads a minute or two and go back to your hamstrings. Use this class as your time. So if you're kind of new to the class, I view this kind of as a workshop. So every week over a 5-week period, we kind of cover a different area of the body. And then we start over. But you might come in and want to roll an area that we're not rolling, right? And that is totally fine. And if you have questions about it, just ask me and I will do my very best to help you in any way that I can. So I've kind of changed how I do this class over the years from when it started. And I decided that this works pretty well because that way we definitely, cover through the whole body every 5 weeks. And so if you are new and you can come, 5 weeks in a row or so, then you're going to know how to do all of it. And then you can use this as just your time. Hey, I signed up. You can come in, you can listen to me talk to you. I do tend to talk a little bit in this class, so I'll try to back off a little bit so you can have some. You can always mute your computer too. Look and see what we're doing and then mute me. Again, I'm home alone this weekend, right? So, or not this whole weekend, but this day. So I haven't had anybody to talk to. So y'all are it. Y'all get to hear me ramble. If I start fussing at you and tell you to clean your room and do dishes, because that's normally what I spend my days saying. Clean up after yourself, pick your clothes up off the floor, put your trash in the trash. Everybody can, switch out. I try to do a little bit of everything. Model, so you see. And if you have some low back pain, so rolling, low back pain, we can roll our low back. We do have our quadratus lumborum back there, which is a low back muscle, but our hip flexors come up and over the back. So oftentimes pain that we're feeling in our low back can be coming from tightness here in the quad area because the hip flexors come down your iliacus, your psoas, and they come down from here, they come up and inside. Next week when we do glutes, we'll get into the hip flexors more. And then they cross over and attach through the low back. So the hip flexor muscles can actually cause pain in various areas of your body. I've told y'all before, I once thought I had hamstring injury because I was kind of feeling the pain back here. And through physical therapy and whatnot, it was actually my hip flexor. But again, because the hip flexor comes from down here and then it was pulling from the back, but the issue was the hip flexor. So hip flexors are a tricky little muscle, 2 muscles. And they're the only muscle that really crosses, over that midline of the body. And they're often tight if you have a job where you're seated a lot. Because when you're in the seated position, your hip flexor is tight, it's contracted and shortened. And so if we sit a lot, it gets used to that position. And then it pulls on the tendons, which pull on the bones, which pull on the ligaments. And then we can get some knee pain, low back pain, hip pain. And then another pesky little muscle comes right here, right along kind of your outer thigh area. It's called your TFL, your tensor fascia lata. It often causes problems with tightness and pain because it likes to take over for your glutes. So when you're doing things, especially when you're doing lateral things, like moving the leg away from the body, and you aren't activating the glutes, the tensor fasciae lata, TFL, I'm not positive I'm saying that correctly, ends up taking over, and it's not meant to take over. It's kind of like when our upper traps take over and then we get the tightness in the shoulder. So if you have any kind of, when you're moving your leg away, you feel any kind of pain up here, that TFL, so you can get up there and massage that out too, rolling on it or using the stick roller. Runners, a lot of times, runners will have, that's when I used to get injured all the time, running. It is, I love running. I don't so much anymore, but I used to run all the time. It can be a great sport, but it can cause some injuries. So rolling is really, really good for runners. Nice. All right, we have about 4 minutes left. So continue where you are, or if you want to go back to your first leg or back to the hamstrings or any other area of your body. If you want to go to another area of your body and you don't know how to do it or what to do, let me know. I can show you. And then if you would like to stay around for yin, remember, even if you're not signed up, it's not too late. It starts 5 minutes after this class. So 5:35 Pacific Standard Time. And we'll really work to stretch the hamstrings, the quads. I got you, Heather. Yeah, I saw, I'm friends with a lot of people in Colorado since we lived there for a couple of years, and Colorado is being hammered right now with snow. My friend in the Springs, in Colorado Springs, just posted a picture and it is like blizzard coming down. So yeah, it definitely can affect the internet. That was what always shocked me the most when I lived, because I'm a Texas girl, born and raised, but lived in Colorado for 3 years. I did the snow in January, February, even like right now in March, it's kind of like, but being from Texas my whole life, our first year in Colorado, and we got like a blizzard in May. That was the weirdest thing. I couldn't comprehend it, because in Texas in May, it is definitely summer. I mean, we're like in the 90s. And even in March, our pools are all opened. Our pools all opened this weekend, which is, it's still a little bit chilly for the pool. Yeah, we will use the band in yin because we'll get those hamstrings. Yeah, good question. So if you are sticking around for yin in our little break, you can grab a strap or a robe tie or a belt. Really work our hamstrings. So we have about 1.5 minutes or so left here. So any of these areas. Oh, I needed this tonight. A lot of times if you get some pain in your knee, it comes from tightness in these areas that we're rolling today. So if you get some sharp pain ever in your knee, I always tell people, give it a try, roll it. And then of course, if things don't get better, always check things out. But, roll and rest a little bit. And 99% of the time, if I'm getting some sharp pain in my knee, and just take, maybe even just a day to kind of rest it and roll, that pain goes away. Now, we can have real injuries in our knee, torn ligaments, things like that. So always listen to your body, and if things aren't getting better, get it checked out. But a lot of times it's because the muscles in the upper leg, they're tight, and the muscle connects to a tendon, which connects to the bone. And so if the muscle's tight, it's pulling on the tendon. Tendons and ligaments don't have a lot of give to them. And the tendon attaches to the bone, and then bone attaches to more bone by ligaments. So if we can loosen up and create some space and flexibility and length in the muscle, then it doesn't pull on everything so bad. And then a lot of times that pain goes away. So that's always a good place to start. So thank you all for joining me. If you are not coming back for yin, have a wonderful evening. I'm just going to check these messages as I'm logging out. Yeah, it hurts so good. I agree, Linda. Yeah, I needed it tonight too. My knees have been bothering me these past few days. So I was like, oh yeah, that's right. They'll feel better now. If you can come to yin, I'll see you in about 5 minutes. We will stretch these areas that we just rolled. Otherwise, have a beautiful, wonderful evening, and I'll see you all very soon.